Breaking news tonight, the Russia investigation. The president saying that he believes Robert Mueller will treat him fairly in the investigation. Back with me now, my political commentators, Tara Setmeyer, Bakari Sellers, and Ben Ferguson. Well, that was a chat.
It was indeed.
It's always interesting when Chris Bruddy comes on. But this interview in the New York Times, Bakari, I always find it interesting because many times supporters come on and they don't really have their facts straight, and you have to tell them, and then they accuse you of making things up when the facts are just the facts. What did you think of that?
Well, I mean, it is Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump in the purest sense. And Christopher Ruddy is one of those Donald Trump sycophants that comes on air and just says what Donald Trump wants him to say. I mean, the facts are this. How many people did Barack Obama have charged with a crime? Zero. How many people were indicted when Barack Obama was president of the United States? Zero. How many people pled guilty to a crime? Zero. The fact is, anybody can come on TV and tout the president and tout his ethics and tout his morals and everything else, but he's had four individuals, two of which have actually already pled guilty, one of which was his national security advisor. They have pled guilty to crimes, and the national security advisor has pled guilty to a crime while he was in the White House, and Paul Manafort, who's been indicted, was the chairman of the president's campaign. Those are facts. And if Christopher Ruddy wants to come on here and say this has nothing to do with the president, this has nothing to do with the president while he was running for office or while he's been in the White House, then he's a bald-faced liar. The fact is, we are still investigating a meeting that happened with the president's son, Donald Trump Jr. And people are asking, why did this meeting occur? It happened because of adoptions. That's BS, Don. We know why it happened. Yeah. It happened because they thought that they could get information from the Russians.
I got to get Ben in. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, look, and I want to say this because I think that this is, what Bakari just said there, I think sums up the election a year ago perfectly. There are a lot of people that feel like that there was special treatment that was given to people that worked for Barack Obama on things that they did that they would have been indicted for if they were Republicans. For example, when you clearly have top secret information on a laptop that you have on a server in the basement of your house, and then you send those top secret classified documents to people that aren't even cleared to see them, and then you forward them to your husband, who, by the way, is in jail by the name of Anthony Weiner. If that was a Republican,
what does that have to do with what we're talking about?
They would have been indicted. Let me finish.
What are you talking about? The FBI already investigated that. There have been a million hearings on it. It's water under the bridge. No. It's water under the bridge for you. We'll be right back. We'll be right back. So, Ben, if you're not going to hijack the panel and talk about things that are relevant, then you can go on and talk about it. But I don't want to hear things about, listen, I don't want to hear about Benghazi. I don't want to hear about uranium. I don't want to hear about it. It has been litigated
Of course, because it doesn't fit the narrative.
No, it doesn't. Listen.
No, because it's irrelevant now,
It's irrelevant.
Ben. She lost.
It's irrelevant.
Again,
if you're going to talk about it,
I didn't say anything when Bakari was talking earlier, and you had no problem with anything he said because you agreed with it all, Don.
No, it's not because I agree with it all. It's because he's talking about things that had to do with now, not some bull from the past that has been litigated over and over and is not relevant anymore because every time but our emails.
Don,
but
clearly
uranium.
You don't like what I'm saying.
But no, it's not that I don't like what you're saying.
I didn't even say the word uranium, Don. I never said anything about uranium.
That is where you're going to go back to. You go back to the same
No, it's not.
points.
If you listen to somebody, instead of assuming what they're going to say, then you might learn something.
Get back on track, and let's talk about the New York Times interview that we were discussing instead of going back in time in a time machine and talking about something and someone who was not president anymore.
So
again, he says that he believes, Tara, that he believes that he could be treated fairly in the investigation. Yet, over and over and over again, he has said that he believes it is tainted. He says in this interview that he believes it was made up, invented by the Democrats, these Russia allegations, as a hoax and a ruse and as an excuse for losing an election.
Yet our intelligence agencies have unanimously agreed that the Russians did, in fact, meddle in our election. Donald Trump has it stuck in his craw that it somehow undermines legitimacy of his election if he acknowledges what the Russians did. This is something to the chagrin of even his national security folks, everyone. They don't like the fact he continues to call this a hoax, because it's not a hoax. And it makes our intelligence community's job that much more difficult, because they need to implement policy to make sure this doesn't happen again. That's the real problem here. The fact that he
And
just
no one
will
is
not,
doing anything about it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I believe that there are good men and women that are trying to do their jobs despite the president continually stepping on their throats and belittling them in public. But his obsession with this is pathological. And he said a lot of other things in this interview, like that he knows the tax bill greater than the CPAs and all these things. It's just his narcissism.
I know foreign policy better than the general. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I'm going to see you New Year's Eve with Andy and Anderson. So let's have some fun. Let's see what I do this year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good night, everybody.